happened during the reset, Nigerians seem to be angry with the current administration of APC. What's your take on all that is happening? And now that the Senate is back, what should we be expecting from you? So if I'm back, then protest and everything.
Well, for Yuba, I feel so sad because we were close. It was actually close to everybody. Okay? Unfortunately, death took him away. It is so sad. But God knows best. That was his time. We only pray that God Almighty will grant his soul eternal rest and comfort the immediate family and ourselves. But one thing I will say is that Ifeanyi's death should be a lesson to everybody here. It can come anytime. Death can come anytime. So let's remain as close as possible to God in all our doings and in all our relationships with human beings. May his soul rest in peace. Now, coming to the issue of the economy. First, I want us to appreciate where we're coming from. So many decisions that were supposed to have been taken in the past were not taken, and that is why we are where we are today. President Tinubu has taken the bull by the horn. He has decided to take these decisions, which in the immediate are painful, but on the long run will be better off. I will only employ Nigerians to be patient with him. I'm an economist, okay? I know the dynamics of all that is playing. If we don't take some of these decisions now, we will not have a Nigeria tomorrow. So I'm appealing to all Nigerians to be patient with the president. Some of these decisions, like I said, as painful as they may be, in the long run, in fact, in the medium to long run, we will all be better off.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. So when do I see you?
You're expecting from the Nigerian Senate?
Well, we've just returned from about 6 weeks break, and we were with our people in our various constituencies, and we were in Nigeria as well, most of us. So the things that developed within the vacation are things that are very worrisome. The ever soaring prices of goods and services, and then the confusion in our petroleum sector, where the very thing God gave us, instead of our harnessing it to the benefit of Nigerians, we've continued to suffer. We've been plunged into deep crisis. You know, that today, from something that started very small, we have now gone into a very palpable crisis that even petroleum products are no longer affordable by Nigerians. And the primary material for producing this thing, the raw material for producing these products are in our ground here. So it's very unfortunate. Our people are grieving, people are suffering. The pangs of hardship are so much in the system. So now that we have returned from the recess, we have to tell ourselves the truth and immediately stand on the side of the Nigerian people and see what we can do to alleviate the sufferings of the people, remove all the bottlenecks in the downstream sector of the Nigerian petroleum sector, and then look at those who are managing the sector. Some of us have granted interviews within the vacation when the prices soared to 1,250 naira per liter of petrol. We couldn't wait for us to resume. So I went on television and I said that the president should do something. Those people who are managing our petroleum resources cannot give us any reason, no justification why we can no longer afford petroleum products, PMS, diesel, kerosene, and all that. It's a very terrible, just nostalgic feeling of the past when these things were available. At some time, PMS was 20 kobo per liter, 40 kobo, 70 kobo, and from now we're at 1,000 plus. You know, so it's no longer acceptable. We have to search for a solution to it, and I believe the first step will be to look at those who are there. If they've not been able to do anything in the past 5-6 years, there's no reason why they should not yield their spaces to other people. let us see how we can truthfully, frankly, and passionately deal with the problems. Yes, so that is what we should deal with. Number one, the energy crisis, the crisis in the petroleum sector should be number one in this chamber where we come back from tomorrow.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
I want to thank God for the peaceful recess which we had, and we're now back to business. And I want to use this medium to assure Nigerians that the 10th Senate will not relent on our promises to them, which is to make laws, to craft laws that will meet the needs of Nigerians. And we've started doing that. For those that are protesting, talk is cheap, but the truth is that President Tinubu is a man with understanding as to how things work, and is currently working around the clock to correct the anomalies we've recorded in the past, which is the cause of the hardship we're facing now. Because the hardship we're facing currently was as a result of maladministration the PDP government have given to Nigerians all over the years. And when you come to economic planning, it takes time for beautiful economic policies to materialize by reversing the bad economy we had. So I believe that in no time, Nigerians will actually see that President Tinubu means well for Nigerians. Because by then, all his economic policies and programs will come to limelight. Thank you.
But do you think the APC has what it takes to change the narrative? Because it doesn't look like there's light at the end of the tunnel.
There is light at the end of the tunnel. What is required is time. If you watch what Mr. President is doing, you can see a man with a comprehensive approach to solving the problem. In the area of agriculture, you can see the input is dishing out, the incentives, all to encourage our people to go back to farm. Because the truth of the matter is that our rationale behind agriculture, our morale towards agriculture is low. You can see today that less than 10% of our population are being engaged in agriculture, whereas it's not supposed to be so. Be you a senator, be you a governor, be you a civil servant, you should have your farm, produce what you eat. But all of us depend on the market. And that is why the prices of goods keep skyrocketing, because the law of demand and supply is very simple. When the demand is higher than the supply, definitely the price will go high. So Nigerians should think the other way around by going to farm, no matter whom you are. Produce what your family will eat. By so doing, the price of goods will come down. Now, outside that, look at the students' loan. By this program of Mr. President, it has indirectly given free scholarship to all Nigerians. With this, no Nigerian child will drop out of school as a result of inability to pay his or her fees. Now, outside that, look at the graduate grant that is coming on board. By this, as a graduate, you don't have any job, Mr. President has a very big package for you, whereby you'll be receiving not less than 50,000 naira monthly, pending when, the person gets a job. No president has ever done this. No administration has ever done this. And look at the area of agriculture. Mr. President wants to create Ministry of Livestock to solve this nagging problem between farmers and herdsmen. You can see that Mr. President is out to do things differently. So all that is required from Nigerians is patience and nothing more.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Today is our first day back from the summer recess. I'd like to stay, in line with your questioning. One of the most important challenges or issues plaguing us in Nigeria today is, of course, the economy. The foreign exchange crisis we may be facing has led to two things, obviously, at the very forefront. One is an energy crisis, a cost of living crisis, which is obviously underpinned by the cost of PMS and obviously food insecurity. This federal government administration is on top of these issues. The federal government is doing its best to shore up its foreign reserves. The 10th Senate, through its standing committees that have the requisite oversight on these various arms of government, that's the executive arm, is doing its best and its foremost. We've taken almost like an oath to ourselves this morning that we will do all that we can to support the executive to soften and provide a cushion for the hardship that is being faced. Like I said, the first task is to shore up our foreign reserves so that we can defend our naira. But importantly is also to ensure that we shore up local production in the agri space, such that the cost of food comes down. There should be an oversupply of food within our borders to bring it down and make sure that it's readily available for any Nigerian. No Nigerian should go home hungry. No Nigerian should not be able to afford 3 square meals a day. Beyond that, insecurity has plagued this country. That is something that the various security agencies are working on top of, the 10th Senate as well. Through its various committees, whether it's on the Army, the Police, the Navy, the Air Force, is working very aggressively with these security agencies to ensure that they can bring it down to a zero incidence level. The 10th Senate is just rearing up. Today, unfortunately, we took notice of the demise of one of our colleagues, Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, and so we couldn't have a full plenary sitting. We, in honor and in standing practice and tradition of the Senate, we closed for the day. But we'll be resuming tomorrow morning to start tackling the issues, and we will do our best for the Nigerian people who have sent us here to be their representatives, to be their voice. And I can assure every Nigerian that this 10th Senate is ready and willing and able.
Thank you, sir. You've said it all.